I'm here in Dresden, Tennessee. They said that their water tower got hit pretty hard, and they didn't know, talking on the radio, if it was going to have to be repaired or replaced. But as you can see, it's a disaster area. Probably declared as being some sort of a disaster area. The whole town, basically. It's not quite as bad as what the pictures look like pertaining to Mayfield, Kentucky, but it's probably the next thing to it. Trying to get some sort of assessment. That way in the days and weeks ahead, come out here and possibly assist in some sort of help. Power of nature. You can see right there, that used to be some sort of mechanic shop. And this is something right here that looks kind of odd or strange. If you look over here, there was a truck, obviously, that he was working on. That's a bunch of wires and stuff pertaining to the electrical grid. But if you look right there, there is a MIG welder sitting there that looks like it has never been disturbed. And a helmet sitting on top of it that probably weighs maybe 2 pounds at the very most. Probably not even that. Why wouldn't the wind or some of the debris that was moving around have knocked that helmet and blowed it into smithereens, or blowed it at least off of that tank where that mechanic or whoever it was that put that welding helmet up there like that? Why wouldn't that have blown off? It's kind of like the restaurant down in Jackson, Tennessee, where it hit this restaurant. I think it was in 1999. It may have been the 2003 tornado. That whenever it hit the restaurant, it knocked everything. Knocked all the walls. Everything was gone from the restaurant except one table. One table sitting in the middle was sitting just exactly where it was before the tornado ever hit. The seating was all the same. The salt and pepper shakers, and even the paper towels, the napkins, was in the napkin holder that it looked like it had never been touched. Now, how can a tornado that dissipates a whole building, takes all the windows, all the walls, takes everything out, but yet no, something like that, something so minute, you would have thought that thing would have wound up sailing off into Timbuktu somewhere. Looks like a red toolbox right over there. I'm sure it come from this place right here. All these up trucks and vehicles where people was having stuff worked on. All you can do is pray that the government will bring the Red Cross and FEMA and other types of emergency assistance out here to be able to help these people. Because they're definitely in bad shape. How y'all doing? You care if I talk to you for a second?
I don't want to talk. Talk to him, man. He's the owner.
You the owner, sir? Was you here whenever all this rigmarole happened?
No.
Where was you?
Martin.
Martin, ain't you glad?
Yeah.
Do you know of anybody in the area that got badly injured or even fatalities anywhere?
I heard them yet.
You ain't heard none yet? So this was your home here?
Yeah, my son, yeah.
Your son's home? It's a total loss, isn't it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Total loss. Well, thanks for talking to me.
Yes, sir.
And you're in our prayers.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. You can see where that house right there is leaning. I'm sure it's a total loss. Everything out here will be a total loss. All they can do is come out here with the big rigs and the dozers and the front end loaders and the back holes and start crushing stuff up and putting it in a truck and taking it off to a landmine field somewhere. Look here. Knocked all the windows out of this building. Tore up the roof. Looked like we're some taking a gun and shot against that siding right there. See all the holes? See the holes? Like a hand grenade or something went off. Could you only imagine if you was out here in the open being bombarded by all that type of debris? 18-wheeler trailer truck right there. Fire and Water, Dyersburg, Tennessee. Cleanup, restoration. This looks like independently owned and operated. Serbo. Got a generator going, probably to be able to operate some tools and stuff. Moon's out, broad daylight. It's about 3 o'clock, 3:30 after moon's out. Oh me. All this stuff has been hit, damaged. Some of them not quite as bad as the others. You know, you can do data recordings in your automobile sitting somewhere, but it's really nothing like actually being able to get out here, put the feet to the ground, walk around, and see just exactly how devastating that this truly is to people's lives. This is something just like the WPSD reporter was talking about the night that it was hitting. This will be something that will be lived generations from now. People will be devastated by all this. Be something that they can't get over. Be the same difference if you went to a battlefield somewhere and you was engaged in a major confrontation pertaining to seeing a battle, seeing all kinds of things around you being blowed up, people being injured and killed. There'll be mental stress issues out of all this that will last for years. This was a beautiful town. A beautiful, beautiful town. Kenton, Tennessee, they took it on the cheek too. It looked like it probably took out about a third of those in the Kenton, Tennessee area. A lot of these people are set up professionally because there are so many catastrophes and disasters in America now. A lot of these people are set up to where whenever something like this occurs, they know just exactly where to go, what to do, and how to do it. They bring in their generators, they bring in their 18-wheelers, they bring in their big trailers, they bring in their crews, and they start working hands-on. Hands-on. Because we've become so adapted to these horrible, horrible occurrences that continue to keep happening. It's like, well, if they're going to continue to keep happening, I guess we need to modify in how to take care of these events whenever they occur, because obviously they're not going to stop occurring. And the reason why that they're occurring is because of people's lifestyles that refuse to change, and because of the horrible, horrible things that we're doing to the planet that's bringing destruction to our own lives. And until we're willing to conform and change from that obviously we're doing, I truly believe that these occurrences are just going to escalate in the sense of becoming even worse and worse and worse. And as they become worse, they're intensifying in not only velocity, but in the magnitude that they come in and in their power. I mean, look at this tree right here. This tree right here. If you look at the bottom root section of it, it has to be a tree that's every bit of 75, 80 to 100-year-old tree. Look at the trunk of it down there where the roots is. It takes a lot of power to push something like that over. 100 men, if they had ropes tied to that tree, could not pull that tree down. I don't know that 1,000 men could pull that tree down. But a supernatural event like this can happen, and bingo, they all come down. Look at all this stuff. This is all stuff pertaining to people's livelihoods. This is stuff that they've worked for all their lives. There's a squirrel over there in a tree, if you can believe that. This is stuff that people have worked for all their lives, that within a matter of minutes or seconds is totally gone. Books, boxes, Halloween figurine pumpkins. Look like a Christmas tree right there. It's like an old stereo or book shelf right there. There's a life jacket right there, that orange life jacket. There's a Christmas tree box. Probably where the Christmas tree come from. Children's toys everywhere. Games. See the games right there? Some sort of game station. Clothes. More books. This is these people's lives. Everything that they've ever had and owned and worked for have been desecrated just within a matter of seconds or minutes, however long that it took this event to happen. Usually whenever an event like this comes into town like this, it probably takes about from the time it starts from the edge of town, from the time it goes at the speed that this one was going in, about 50, 60, 65 miles an hour, it probably took just about 3 minutes from one end of town to the other end of town to have caused this type of destruction. 3 to 5 minutes. Everything that took a whole lifetime, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years to work for, is now suddenly all of a sudden gone. Gone. As if it never, ever was to begin with. I can see some damage that's happened to some of them tanks right there. That ladder's knocked out of place. You can also look over here. Looks like something hit that bottom part of that tank and knocked the bottom part of that tank off. Right there at the bottom. Then again, they may have been working on the thing. I don't know. And it may have been that way before the storm hit, but I'm pretty sure that ladder wasn't that way. I don't know what this is. Probably some sort of oil refinery, gas place, CDs. I'm going to walk on over this way. If you would, please bear with me. I'm having to walk around stuff. I don't want to end up walking on a plank or a live wire that could possibly have electricity going through it. There's a plank right there. You don't never know when you walk on a plank if thing's going to have a nail sticking up to it. Right there's a telephone line directory thing. Either that or maybe it's a TV or internet thing. But you can see where the SWAT, basically from all them headstones over where the cemetery is, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, until it finally basically dissipates right there at that funeral home. That used to be a funeral home right there. I guess it still is. Look like they've sustained some sort of damage. But it's like a SWAT heading directly towards the Capitol building, downtown Dresden, Tennessee. Capitol, Nashville, Tennessee, Dresden, Tennessee being the seat to Weakley County. See all kinds of shingles, all kinds of debris. Yeah, that was some sort of oil gas company right there. I don't know if it was farm related or what. I'm surprised the building withstood as good as it did. Probably wouldn't have had if it wasn't for those tanks. Them tanks probably protected the building. This is not a sign that you're looking at. I want to be sure and point that out. First of all, look at that house the way it's leaning. This is actually part of, I don't know if you'd call it a viaduct or just a retaining wall that they had to build. Look at our red, white, and blue. America. That recently they had painted because the bottom part of it was poured concrete. I think it was poured concrete. And somebody painted a logo pertaining to Dresden, Tennessee on the logo. It says, "Welcome to Dresden, Tennessee." Welcome to Dresden, Tennessee. See this stuff right here? People out here walking around, if they don't watch, if you'll turn that plank over. You see them burrs right there? If you step on that, you ain't got the right kind of shoes, it'll go right through your shoes. The next thing you know, you'll have a foot injury. Something that you don't need, I don't need, nobody needs. Let's look at this tree over here as we're analyzing and assessing the damage here. Somebody stuck up a flag, American flag there. But if you look at this tree, the size of it, and I'm not no woodsman, I'm not a professional logger, I don't have the right proper measuring equipment to come out here and measure this thing. But by looking at this tree and looking at the trunk, looking at the root system, size of this tree, in my opinion, is every bit of a 200-year-old tree. Every bit. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 years is what it takes for a big tree like that to grow. Now look at this. 2x4. Drove off into the, I can't even pull it out. Drove off into the root system. It took that tree 200 years to become that long, that strong, that big, that dynamic. This is the sad part about what's going on right now in our country and throughout the world. It took Mother Nature 200 years to basically prep, babysit, year after year, summer after summer, winter after winter. Some years was wet, some years was dry. There's other storms that it has endured, but this one here, it didn't endure. And within a matter of seconds, something that has taken 200 years to become fruitful, within a matter of seconds, is gone. Do you think 1,000 men hooked with ropes could pull a tree down like that? Not even. Not even. I don't know that 10,000 men could pull that tree down. As far as using their own personal wits and their strength in doing that. See them nails right there? You step on that, it's going to go straight through your foot. That's what they was talking about on the radio station. Of course, people staying away from this area until it got cleaned because of the dangers. This little doll. It's like a little monkey or little dog or puppy or something. Somebody's little make-believe friend. This makes, give or take, I guess, about the 10th or 12th disaster ground zero that I've observed hands-on towards coming into the area, or either working it or at least documenting it like I am right now, or actually working in it. And hopefully I'll be able to help once they get things organized here. But this makes about a dozen different disasters that I've worked since Katrina. I wasn't in the storm chasing business until 2005, whenever Katrina hit. Since Katrina in 2005, I've been on site, ground zero, of about a dozen different calamities such as this one. Each time I come to a calamity like this one, I get that empty, gut-wrenching, painful feeling towards how bad that it can be towards people losing everything that they've ever desired to want or work for, and just within a matter of minutes it's all gone. I continue to weep internally and sometimes even externally because of seeing the sorrows. And if these things are making me and people like me feel this type of anguish, this type of misery, this type of sorrow for these people, can you only imagine? Can you only imagine how dreadfully sorrow that falls into our Heavenly Father's feelings every time this occurs again and again and again, regardless whether it comes in the form of tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, fires, diseases, wars, pestilences, droughts. Can you only imagine how the Heavenly Father feels every time He looks down upon His creation? Because we are all part of His creation. And within a matter of seconds, or in a matter of minutes, in a lot of cases, what has been created is now totally a destructive waste, a wasteland. Nothing but a wasteland. Please pray for the people in Dresden, Tennessee. Please pray for the people that's been influenced by these storms just within the past 72 hours that began hitting in the region late Friday afternoon, that I think went all the way up to Kingston, Tennessee, up towards Middle Tennessee, not counting the people that it crippled and hurt over in southern Illinois, not counting the people that it crippled and hurt in Arkansas and Missouri, and not counting the people that it damaged in Mississippi and Kentucky. 6 states in a tornado outbreak in probably an 8-hour period of total devastation. A wasteland. Tell me, please, somebody out there, tell me that we're not supposed to be paying more closer attention to these atmospheric conditions that are drastically getting worse and worse and worse every day, not just here in America, but throughout the planet. Tell me that I'm only imagining these things, and that it's only my imagination playing tricks on me, or it's only my imagination running wild, pertaining to me seeing what I'm seeing right now in front of my very eyes, in front of the camera, that you're digitally being recorded on what has occurred. Thanks again for listening. Good luck to all of us. There's the water tower once more again. I don't know how severely, badly it got damaged, but I heard them talking on the radio that it had been petrified in some form or fashion. I don't know if it was damaged up on top, damaged down on the bottom. I don't know if one of the legs got damaged. I don't know if it can be repaired. I just know that the devastation in these areas that have recently gotten hit, just as our president, Mr. Biden, has recently said, has been total devastation. This right here looked like some sort of a game room here. Took the top off. You got netting, baseball gloves, bags, sports bags, carpet to protect the building. It looks like somebody had turned this into some sort of a game room for kids to be able to come in here and practice. There's a water cooler. That looks like a heater, some sort of a furnace heater. Yeah, that right there, that thing with the red thing, that thing spits out balls. It's a way that you can actually teach your kids. We never did have nothing like this whenever I was growing up, or if they did, I didn't know it. It's probably a way that you can shoot those yellow balls. See the yellow balls on the other side right there? It shoots them to the kids, and they'll probably either catch them or use the bat to bat at them to improve their sporting skills to where they can be in a better performance. This is gone. This is ruined. I don't know that this can be salvaged or if it's just a total loss. One of the bad things about a building that gets hit like this, see where the door's been knocked, foundation, and I'm sure if you get to looking around, you'll find cracks and you'll find areas that maybe it didn't completely tear completely apart, but it took on such of a lick that it's basically compromised the integrity of the building, that no longer makes the building safe. And once that occurs, then OSHA or some other safety zone commission, maybe the fire and rescue people, come in here and inspect it and declare it as a total loss, and then it has to be bulldozed down, regardless whether they want to keep it or not. Now, some of this stuff, as they're tearing it down, they may decide to salvage some of it, towards bringing salvagers out here that'll tear it down piece for piece and take the material and use it somewhere else. That's always a possibility. But then again, they may just do like this guy right here's doing, towards taking a backhoe with a thumb on it, a finger, and crunching everything up and dumping it on that dump truck right there, and bingo, it'll be going to the Badlands for its resting place. Super sad. This is my hometown. This is the area that I've been raised up in since I was just knee high to a grasshopper, since 1967. I was about 6 years old when we first moved to Tennessee. I have been involved with these people's lives all my life in some form or fashion, either by friends, family, church, socially, spiritually. And to see this is just absolutely a gut-wrenching feeling to know that it has come home. It has come home to a great deal of us, especially this close to Christmas. Please keep these people in your prayers. Help these people if you can. Those that's got deep pockets, those that can reach out and help people like this. Please, if you've ever wanted to show the Good Samaritan side of the American people, now's the time to do it, including myself and others. Thanks for listening. Good luck to all of us, and shalom.